Listen, a dangerous winter storm is about to slam the United States. And what happened overnight has every meteorologist I know absolutely freaking out right now. We're looking at 90 million people directly in the path of this thing. And here's what makes this terrifying. This could be even worse than last weekend's ice storm that killed over 110 people. Right now, at this very moment, hundreds of thousands are still sitting in the dark without power. And the coldest air of the entire winter is about to crash into these exact same communities. Drop your city in the comments right now because I'm going to break down exactly what you need to know, and this forecast is changing every single hour. It all begins today as a historic Arctic blast drives extremely cold air deep into the south. This polar plunge will crush temperature records from Florida straight through Maine. But that's just a setup, because a major storm is about to explode this weekend with a very rare and dangerous characteristic. It's forecasted to become a bomb cyclone. If this takes the right track, we're talking about feet of snow across the East Coast. And here's the part that sounds absolutely insane. Rare snow is possible in Florida. The worst part is widespread blizzard conditions are on the table, with wind gusts exceeding 60 miles per hour this weekend, leading to catastrophic power outages. Let me show you what's happening across the country right now, because the setup we're dealing with is legitimately wild. New York City barely cracking 18 degrees with wind chills at -5, Boston at 15 degrees, Chicago at 15 with brutal wind chills hitting -20. Meanwhile, check this out. Los Angeles is 68 degrees and sunny. Phoenix sitting at 70 degrees. That's a 140-degree temperature difference driving this monster storm. Think about that for a second. 140 degrees difference coast to coast. That kind of gradient is what creates explosive storm development. Now here's where this gets absolutely insane. We've got a winter storm threat growing along the East Coast that's going to dump snow from Florida back into New England. Let me walk you through what's happening tonight into tomorrow. We're expecting passing snow flurries underneath a very intense Arctic high in the northern plains. If you're in Little Rock, Kentucky, even parts of Tennessee, you could see snow tonight. And early tomorrow, we'll see snow moving across the Appalachian Mountains. But here's the critical development. Down in the Gulf, a low pressure system is about to form. And that system is going to move up the coast, creating a major winter storm. Late Friday night into Saturday, that moisture and cold air coming from the north meets with this developing low near Florida, and that's when things get serious. Saturday morning, this intensifies into a dangerous winter storm across the mid-Atlantic, with heavy snowfall in North Carolina, Tennessee, northern Georgia, and Virginia. Right around sunrise, that snow really picks up, and during the afternoon, we hit one of the most intense periods with heavy snowfall and high winds. We're talking moderate to heavy snow from Atlanta back into southern Maryland, absolutely hammering Cape Hatteras, where we could easily see over a foot. Saturday evening is when a lot happens simultaneously. This storm grows in size, stretching from Delaware and New Jersey back into Georgia. And now let me tell you about the absolute wildest part of this entire forecast. Something that would be genuinely historic if it happens. Back over in Florida, we could see Gulf effect snow, and I need you to understand how crazy that sounds. When was the last time you heard a meteorologist say that and actually mean it? Saturday night with westerly winds, moisture could slam into areas near Tampa and Sarasota, creating snow flurries. I'm not even ruling out a coating in isolated spots. Tampa sitting at 70 degrees today, Orlando at 75 degrees, and tomorrow night they might see snowflakes. That is absolutely bonkers, folks. Jacksonville could see flurries. Miami stays warm, but even Miami will run well below normal. The fact we're even discussing Florida snow shows how extreme this is. Now let me show you what changed overnight that has everyone's attention. Because yesterday, we weren't even talking about this as a major threat. The models showed it tracking well offshore, minimal impacts, just another close call. But overnight, everything shifted dramatically westward. This westward shift brings heavy snow and potential blizzard conditions into play for tens of millions. And here's why that matters so much. With coastal storms, just 20 miles in track adjustment means the difference between a dusting and 2 feet of snow burying your driveway overnight. The European model is showing something extremely aggressive. A rapidly intensifying low-pressure system becoming a legit bomb cyclone. When these storms undergo bombogenesis, they can drop 3 to 4 inches of snow per hour, creating accumulation that completely overwhelms any road treatment. Sunday morning, this low that formed over Florida moves off the Carolinas coast, and we start seeing a very intense winter storm with heavy bands of snow. The snow gets really intense near Charlotte, Raleigh, and the Outer Banks, where we could see snowfall rates exceeding 2 inches per hour. By Sunday afternoon, this delivers a significant punch to coastal New England. Cape Cod could see a whopper of a blizzard with potential for 20-plus inches. Now let me address the million-dollar question everyone's asking. Does this hit the big I-95 cities or does it stay offshore? Here's the deal. If this low tracks just 20 miles farther west than forecasted, New York City sees significant snow. If it shifts east, just a coating. The further you live out on eastern Long Island, the more snow you get. You're cold enough for all snow. It's just whether you actually get the moisture. Watch for last-second northwest shifts. It wouldn't take much to go from hardly nothing to an all-out blizzard. We're talking 30 miles changes everything. Boston is definitely in play. I think you're locking in several inches starting Sunday. Southern New England near Cape Cod, potentially 20 to 22 inches. Let me show you the wind forecast because this is where things get legitimately terrifying with blizzard conditions developing. Saturday afternoon along the coast from the Carolinas through Virginia, wind gusts hitting 50 to 60 miles per hour, creating complete whiteout conditions. We're definitely seeing blizzard warnings Saturday for coastal areas, especially the Outer Banks, where sustained winds of 40 to 50 miles per hour are expected. Sunday morning winds intensify further inland. Parts of North Carolina near Charlotte see gusts near 35 to 40 miles per hour. The Appalachian Mountains gusting upwards of 50 to 60 miles per hour. Sunday, we're expecting full blizzard conditions ramping up over New England. Cape Cod and Nantucket looking at 60 to 70 mile per hour winds, and here's what makes this extra dangerous. There's already a lot of snow on the ground across New England that hasn't melted. Wind will push that around, creating massive snow drifts and blowing snow. Visibility drops to near zero. It gets genuinely dangerous for travel, Sunday especially near Nantucket and Cape Cod. Now let me give you snowfall totals, and this is extremely tricky because we're dealing with such a compact but intense storm. Florida, yes, we're expecting flurries, maybe even a coating near Orlando and Tampa Saturday night. The odds are rapidly increasing, folks. Georgia's northeastern areas, maybe 1 to 3 inches. South Carolina's upstate looking at 6 to 12 inches. Areas near Greenville potentially exceeding a foot. North Carolina is directly in the bullseye. Widespread 8 to 16 inches. Charlotte could see 10 to 14. Raleigh 6 to 10. The Outer Banks 15 to 20 inches possible. Virginia gets hit hard too. Richmond 6 to 10 inches. Virginia Beach potentially 8 to 14. Western Mountains 10 to 16 inches. Here's where track uncertainty gets massive. Baltimore could see 3 to 6 inches, but a 30-mile westward shift means 8 to 12 inches instead. New Jersey split, southern counties 6 to 10 inches, northern maybe 2 to 4. New York City, the big question mark, potentially 3 to 6 inches if track cooperates. Southern New England more confident, Connecticut 6 to 10, Rhode Island 8 to 12, Cape Cod and Nantucket, the jackpot zone, with 18 to 24 inches possible. Now something even more widespread than snow, an absolutely brutal Arctic blast shattering records all along the East Coast starting today. This brings dangerously cold air into the southeast. Florida, Georgia, South Carolina breaking dozens of records, sticking around through Monday and Tuesday. Tomorrow is when extreme cold really begins. Northern plains and northeast seeing lows as cold as 20 below zero. That's actual air temperature, not wind chill. Minneapolis hitting negative 10. Saturday, very cold air makes it to the Gulf Coast. Some areas like Kansas City and Oklahoma City dropping to 0 degrees. Here's what really concerns me. Nashville and Memphis areas just hammered by ice last weekend. Over 200,000 still without power, now facing extreme cold. Picture this scenario for a moment. You're already freezing in your powerless home, and now the temperature outside drops another 20 degrees. This isn't about canceled school anymore. This is straight up survival for thousands of families sitting in the dark right now. Late Saturday into Sunday, temperatures drop below freezing across nearly all of Florida, even Miami near freezing, which is absolutely unprecedented. Let me rapid fire through cities so you know what to expect. Columbus and Indianapolis, both at 15 degrees with lows at 0. Extreme cold staying dry. Detroit, Cleveland, Buffalo, all brutal cold. Pittsburgh, 15 degrees. Cincinnati, 18 degrees. All frigid throughout the weekend. Out west, the contrast is remarkable. Seattle, 45 with rain. Portland, 45 wet. San Francisco, 58. Los Angeles, 68, sunny. Phoenix, 70 degrees. Now, here's your preparation checklist, and I need you to actually do this today, not tomorrow. Stock up on supplies in case you lose power. Flashlights, batteries, non-perishable food, water, medications. Charge everything right now. Have backup power ready. This is critical for survival. Avoid travel Friday night through Sunday if possible. This is not a storm to mess around with. If you must travel, pack a full emergency kit in your car. Check on elderly neighbors today. Bring pets inside now. For those still without power, time is running out to find safe shelter. Fill bathtubs with water for flushing toilets. Gather blankets in one room to conserve heat. Know where warming shelters are located. If you use heating oil or propane, get tanks filled today. Stock firewood now. Be extremely careful with generators. Carbon monoxide kills every winter. Now let me address something critical. Yesterday morning, we weren't even discussing this as a major threat. Models showed it staying offshore. But with each new run, particularly overnight, confidence keeps increasing for a significant East Coast storm. And here's what really worries me. It's not even the snow totals, it's the timing. With ongoing power outages, nearly 300,000 people without electricity for 5 or 6 days already. Saturday morning, temperatures plunge well below freezing everywhere. Sunday morning brings single digits as far south as North Carolina. For anyone without power, this becomes life-threatening. Homes cool rapidly. Pipes freeze and burst. Vulnerable populations face critical risks. This isn't the typical storm where schools close 2 days and everyone's back to normal. This is more like a frozen hurricane, folks. Widespread infrastructure damage. Extended outages potentially lasting a full week. Dangerous conditions persisting well after snow stops. If you're anywhere from northeastern Georgia through the Carolinas into New England, prepare right now. Fill water, gather supplies, check on neighbors. This is when community really matters. We look out for each other during extreme weather. It separates bad situations from tragedies. If you must travel, pack complete emergency kit. Tell someone your exact route. In blizzard conditions, visibility drops to 0 instantly. The snowfall maps I showed are based on latest model consensus, but these numbers will keep fluctuating. Some areas could see significantly more or less. That's why you need continuous updates throughout the weekend. Check back every 6 to 12 hours. I'll have another breakdown within 12 hours with latest trends. The European model has been remarkably consistent for 48 hours, which increases confidence. The GFS trending toward European, that convergence is what we look for. When multiple models agree on general setup, the question becomes not if, but where and how much, focusing on details rather than overall threat. For those in snow zones, still prepare for power disruptions. Heavy wet snow with high winds brings down trees. Combination creates perfect storm for outages. Make sure you have safe heating alternatives. Never use outdoor grills or generators inside. Carbon monoxide poisoning kills people every winter trying to stay warm. Long-range pattern beyond this weekend continues looking cold for the east. Possible another Arctic shot late next week. Winter is not done with us yet. The bottom line, major winter storm highly likely this weekend. Record-breaking cold absolutely certain. Take both threats seriously right now. Prepare today. Stay continuously informed. Look out for neighbors. Make smart decisions. Drop your city in comments for specific forecasts. I'll be back tonight at 8 p.m. with the absolute latest models, and folks, this could genuinely be historic. Stay with me. Now let me show you exactly why this setup is so concerning from a meteorological standpoint. Because the ingredients coming together are legitimately rare. We've got this massive Arctic high pressure sitting over Canada at 1,054 millibars. That's extremely strong. And it's pumping brutally cold air straight south. At the same time, we've got Gulf moisture surging north at unusually high levels. And when that warm, moist air collides with the entrenched cold, precipitation intensifies rapidly. What makes this particularly dangerous is how slowly this entire system evolves. Slow-moving winter storms mean prolonged impacts and much higher accumulation totals. Think about it. Even if snow falls at just 1 inch per hour, when a system sits in place for 12 to 18 hours, you're looking at a foot or more piling up. Charlotte, Raleigh, Greensboro, this entire corridor in North Carolina hasn't seen a storm like this in over a decade. Your infrastructure isn't built for this. Your roads don't get pre-treated like they do up north. Most people don't have snow tires. Many don't even own a snow shovel. And that creates massive problems. Virginia Beach looking at potential for 8 to 14 inches. Think about what that means for a coastal city. You could see the beaches completely covered in snow. The Outer Banks with 15 to 20 inches possible, combined with 50 to 60 mile per hour winds. We're talking about genuine whiteout blizzard conditions. I want to emphasize something really important here. When I say blizzard, I don't just mean heavy snow. A blizzard has a specific meteorological definition. Sustained winds of 35 miles per hour or greater, visibility less than a quarter mile, lasting at least 3 hours, and we're expecting all of that. For perspective, in blizzard conditions, you literally cannot see your hand in front of your face. It's complete sensory disorientation. People have died getting disoriented walking from their house to their car just 50 feet away because they couldn't see anything in the whiteout. That's why I'm being so aggressive about telling you to avoid travel. This isn't being overly dramatic. This is genuinely life-threatening stuff. Now let me talk about what happens after the snow stops, because that's when a whole new set of problems begins. With this much snow on the ground and temperatures staying well below freezing, that snow isn't going anywhere for at least a week, maybe longer. Roads will remain impassable even after plowing because the snow just keeps packing down into ice, especially with these extreme cold temperatures behind it. Schools could be closed for a full week, businesses shut down, essential services disrupted, and that's assuming power stays on, which for many areas, it won't. The economic impact of this storm could be massive. We're talking about billions of dollars in lost productivity, infrastructure damage, emergency response costs. But more importantly than economics, this is about keeping people safe. And that's why I'm spending so much time on preparation. If you're in the affected zone and you haven't started preparing yet, I need you to stop what you're doing and start right now. Not after this video, right now. Grocery stores are going to be slammed tomorrow. Gas stations will have lines. Hardware stores will run out of supplies. The time to prepare is today. Let me give you a specific game plan. Right after this video, go to the grocery store, get water, non-perishables, batteries, anything you might need. Fill your car with gas today. Don't wait until Friday. Charge every device you own, power banks, phones, tablets, laptops, everything. If you have a generator, test it today, make sure it works, get fuel for it, know how to operate it safely outside, away from windows. Locate your warmest blankets, sleeping bags, winter coats. Gather them all in one central room. That's your safe room if power goes out. Check your smoke detectors. Check your carbon monoxide detectors. Fresh batteries in both. These are life-saving devices that people forget about. Know where your water main shutoff is in case pipes freeze and burst. Know where your circuit breaker is. Have a flashlight next to it. If you take prescription medications, make sure you have enough for at least a week. Pharmacies could be closed for days. For your pets, bring them inside now. Make sure you have food and water for them. They feel the cold just like we do. Now I want to address something I've seen in the comments. Some people saying this is being overhyped, that meteorologists always exaggerate. Look, I get the skepticism. We've all seen forecasts that didn't pan out, but this is different. Every single model is showing the same general scenario. The European model, the GFS, the Canadian model, even the UK model. They're all converging on a major East Coast winter storm. When models agree like this, 48 to 72 hours out, the confidence level is extremely high that something significant is going to happen. The only uncertainty is the exact track, and that 20 to 30 mile difference determines who gets buried versus who gets a coating. But make no mistake, someone is getting buried. The question is just exactly where that heaviest snow band sets up. I've been doing this for years, and I can tell you, when you see a model agreement like we're seeing right now, you take it seriously. Last weekend's ice storm caught some people off guard. Over 110 people lost their lives. Don't let that be you this weekend. The difference between last weekend and this weekend is we have warning. We have time to prepare. Use that time wisely. Now let me give you the timeline one more time so it's crystal clear. Today, Thursday, extreme cold moves in. Tonight, possible flurries in some areas. Friday, the system starts organizing. Friday night into Saturday morning, snow begins spreading north from Georgia through the Carolinas. Saturday daytime is when we see the most intense snowfall, heaviest from South Carolina through North Carolina into Virginia. Saturday night storm continues intensifying as it moves up the coast. Snow spreads into Maryland, Delaware, potentially clipping Philadelphia and New York. Sunday, the storm impacts New England with heavy snow and high winds. Blizzard conditions likely Cape Cod and the islands. Sunday night into Monday, storm finally pulls away, but brutally cold air remains. Temperatures stay well below freezing for days. That's your timeline. That's when you need to be ready. Friday night is when you need to be home, off the roads, hunkered down. I'll be providing continuous updates. I'll be back tonight with new model data. Tomorrow morning with another update. I'll probably go live Saturday. Make sure you're subscribed, hit that notification bell, drop your city in the comments, and I'll give you a specific forecast. This is the kind of storm that gets talked about for years. People will remember where they were during this one. Make sure your memory is staying safe and prepared, not being caught off guard. Look out for each other. Check on your neighbors. Thanks for watching, folks. This could be historic. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you tonight with the latest. We'll get through this together.